Hey everyone, welcome to Broadband Deployment News. Ziply Fiber is a provider up in the Northwest, and they are planning on deploying fiber broadband services to over 50,000 locations in Montana, and that's going to be privately funded. Be right back with more. Hey, thanks for joining me. Rick Husey here with Broadband Deployment News. So this is interesting. So again, this is all to be privately funded. Ziply Fiber. Ziply is a company that started in May of 2020. So Frontier went into bankruptcy in April of 2020, and Ziply is privately funded by a private investment company, basically, and that company purchased the Northwest portion of Frontier when they went into bankruptcy for, I think it was 1.3 or 1.4 billion dollars, and a lot of that was DSL, so they had the goal, obviously, to try to get as many of those locations upgraded to fiber, and that's what Ziply is doing. So again, this is not funded through any federal program, anything like that. So you see here, a company building to nearly 29,000 addresses in the first two markets alone. So over 50,000 addresses when you look at all these markets that they're talking about here. Ziply Fiber, home to America's fastest home internet, today announced a bold expansion throughout major cities in Montana, including Billings and Great Falls, which both have new ultra-high-speed 100% fiber optic networks ready for service to thousands of residential and business customers today. So I'm thinking what they're saying there is they've already got the fiber deployed and they're ready to start connecting people up. When they say ready for service, it says both have new ultra high speed 100% fiber optic networks ready. Then installations are underway in Billings and will begin in Great Falls later this week. These are the first two cities of at least 5 in the state with brand new state-of-the-art fiber infrastructure being built by Ziply, which previously had only offered service in the communities of Libby and Troy. And I'm going to take a look on the broadband map at a couple of these locations here in just a few minutes. When construction is complete, Ziply Fiber's new network will serve nearly 19,000 homes and businesses in Billings and nearly 10,000 addresses in Great Falls. Ziply Fiber is hard at work on network expansion efforts in Missoula, Helena and Butte as well. The company expects to launch those markets with an additional 26,000 addresses in the next few months. So it sounds like they're deploying they're passing the homes and will be ready to sign people up there in just a few months. Residential customers in all fiber markets can access speeds ranging from 100 meg to 50 gig. I'm questioning that statement, the 50 gig. Maybe they can somehow offer that to limited customers if somebody wants it. But generally what you'll see is 1 gig, no problem. A lot of providers now have XGS-PON, meaning that they can do 10 gig. There are some that have claimed and can do 25 gig, for example. I think Comcast has claimed that in a few places. And then City of Chattanooga in Tennessee, they've got 25 gig available. I believe both of those are through Nokia Fiber that can do 25 gig. And then these guys are saying 50 gig, which is another step up, and I think might be competing not technology, so to speak, but some people were looking at 25 gig as being the next step over 10, and some are looking at 50 gig being the next step over 10. So I believe there's other equipment manufacturers that are doing that. But whether everybody in all locations could get access to 50 gig, certainly not in their DSL locations, but all areas that are covered, as it mentions here, fiber markets could get 50 gig. That would surprise me, but maybe it's true. All Ziply Fiber plans offer symmetrical download and upload speeds, and the company's entry-level Fiber 100 plan exceeds the minimum residential broadband speed required by the FCC with no contracts or data caps. So you can get 100 meg symmetrical at a very good price, not quite as low as they mention here, I don't think. We'll see that in a moment. This means that as of today, both Billings and Great Falls now have the fastest household internet speeds in the nation. I guess, again, that's going based on the 50 gig claim that nobody is ever going to buy. Customers at every speed tier can be confident that they are on the best and fastest network available, giving them great speed and reliable service for everything they want to do online today and into the future. Residents and business owners can check for fiber availability at ziplyfiber.com and sign up to be alerted when service is available at their location. Residential customers can switch to fiber internet for as little as $20 per month and receive a $50 bill credit for themselves and any new customers they refer. Details can be found at referafriend.ziplyfiber.com. So one of the things is I look at where they're going in some of these areas, and they're obviously going to be going, they may be going to some areas that are unserved or underserved, but they're going to areas that are served currently by operators that are above 100 by 20, so they're served, and in some cases we'll see gig service. So the low price is going to help, and then the refer a friend thing's going to help. So you're going to have to make some inroads, I think, into some areas that have got customers already being able to get service, which is another reason why this would not be, certainly in the areas that are served, would not be funded by federal dollars because the area is already served. What to expect during Ziply Fiber construction, talks about that. I think we need to talk about that. Many benefits of fiber, we all know what that is. Ziply Fiber offers many different service options for residents. It mentions the 100 by 100 plan for just $20 a month. That's an introductory price, which we'll see. All residential plans come with no data caps and no annual contracts. That's nice. Discounted pricing for telephone and qualified internet services to eligible low-income and tribal households. Through the federal Lifeline program, enhanced tribal benefit and tribal link-up assistance. Ziply Fiber investing in Billings and Great Falls, 100% fiber network. Ziply Fiber has been actively building fiber across the Northwest since June 2020. That's where I was saying that's basically when they got started, and continues to build and deploy new fiber optic cables, local hubs, new offices, new hardware to run the network as part of hundreds of projects across its 250,000 square mile footprint. That's how the company will deliver what its customers need and deserve as they learn, work, and play and move into the future with ease. Ziply Fiber's primary service offerings are fiber internet and phone for residential customers, business fiber internet and Ziply voice services for small businesses, and a variety of internet, networking, and voice solutions for enterprise customers. They also continue to support Ziply Internet DSL customers and its TV customers in Washington and Oregon. Full listing of products and services can be found at ziplyfiber.com. And again, those would be kind of legacy customers. All of these, anything that was acquired from Frontier at that time would be Ziply's customers at this time, and they would still have DSL subscribers out there that have not been upgraded. So I want to take a look at a few other things here with Ziply. So these are their plans. So you see here, no annual contracts, free installation, no data caps, 100 by 100, and you see, where is it? Where did I see that? Oh, it's up here, I think. Ziply Fiber Internet starting as low as $20 a month for the first 3 months. So again, that's an introductory price. Looks to be a $30 price normally, which is still good. Like if I click on this here, you see for new residential customers only, no annual contract required, 100 by 100, $10 credit for the first 3 months. So sounds like it's $30 a month moving forward, which again, that's a good price. That's about where I would expect to see low cost, when we try to zero in on what a low cost broadband product is going to be, $30 seems about right. I think part of that is because of the Affordable Connectivity Program, the ACP, which is no longer, but the ACP was a $30 subsidy in most areas, unless you were tribal lands. And it was going to be, we're at 75, and it was actually going to be 75 in rural areas, but it never made it long enough to do that. But $30 is kind of what people are thinking of as a affordable internet product for a speed like this. And the idea with the ACP was that you could get a plan from somebody like Ziply or whoever that would be about 100 by 100, get it for $30, and you got the ACP and it was free. So low cost for everyone and free for those that would qualify via the ACP or other programs that might come about. Then you see they got 300 by 300, and you can't look at the pricing here. This one we just know because of this and because of that press release that it's $30 basically. And then you got 300 by 300. They've got a gig, and most popular, and then a 2 gig. They don't mention 50 gig, so maybe you have to call and say, you know what, I really, really need fast internet. If you want to be the fastest person in the block, on your block, or maybe in the state, go ahead and get the 50 gig plan. Certainly if you're a resident. So that's their plans there, and they're kind of focusing on the gig, like a lot of providers doing, saying, hey, you really need a gig because that's acceptable for 1 to 12 users, whereas this one's only 1 to 3, 10 devices. This one, 2 gig, acceptable for 1 to 13, so only one more for some reason. although it's 12 plus devices, that could be 24 or 50 devices, who knows, whatever they decide that would work. But 1 to 13 versus 1 to 12. So these are guesstimates, and you can do I think much better than 1 to 2 users and 5 devices on 100 symmetrical gig plan. Certainly the upload for sure. So anyway, that's their pricing. Their service area, again, they're located, this is kind of where they got started. Here's Montana right here. The yellow areas, if I remember, yellow areas future fiber, that would be under construction. Then you've got under construction, that color. Current service areas you see would be that color, and then fiber ready is the green. Whoops. Go back up here. There we go. So as you look at these areas, you can see a lot of these are their service areas. It could be that some of this is DSL, but you've got the green, that's called fiber ready, and then you've got, again, Montana. Here's Billings, so this is, again, future. You've got a few other, there's Missoula, future, so that's what they're showing as their service areas now. I want to look again on the broadband map and see what we had here. So right now we're looking at Great Falls. So this is one of the ones that they're currently expanding in. And what was surprising in here is I've got it set for wireline service or licensed fixed wireless. And there's all kinds of locations that are showing as unserved. And I think they tend to be business. They tend to be the larger roofs here that are showing, as you go, this looks like residential areas here maybe, and then maybe as we go over here, maybe these are businesses, but some have service and some don't, which doesn't make sense to me. But as I click on an area like right here, it's showing that we've got CenturyLink's got DSL, we've got Spectrum out here is doing 1 gig by 35. You got Starlink, T-Mobile, some DSL unlicensed, or not, excuse me, fixed wireless, and of course satellite. So that's that location. If I go down here, probably going to see something similar. Yeah, DSL, CenturyLink, Spectrum. So Spectrum is covering a lot of this area. So as Ziply comes in, they're going to be competing with Spectrum. That's Time Warner, right? Yeah. Charter. Showing my age there. So going to be competing with Charter. So cable service, decent speeds, a gig by 35. It's not as fast on the upstream. It's pretty much what you'd get, I guess, on the downstream if you're going to get the gig plan. But again, on the upstream, you don't need that much. So they're going to have to make inroads there, and some of that can be with their pricing. The fact that there's no contract, they've got their introductory offer of $20, of course. Spectrum's going to do everything they can to prevent that, so they would probably offer customers credits if they stay with them, those kinds of things, or a lower price. And then you've got these other areas here where we just have got DSL. Spectrum here is business service only, so that's probably what this is. So these are businesses, so Spectrum is not showing up. So they can get the service, but they're not residential, so maybe that's why they are showing up, I guess, as not served, because they're not a residential customer. It seems like it would show as served anyway, but it doesn't. Maybe that's the way Spectrum is reporting it, or maybe that's the way it's supposed to be reported. If it's a business and you mark it as the B when you're uploading your data, then maybe it comes up that way. I'm not sure. So that is Great Falls. Then we've got Billings, another one. So here, where I just clicked, again, we've got CenturyLink, DSL, copper service. Got geosynchronous satellite. We've got low Earth orbit satellite. All these are going to be the same. Starlink's 220 by 25 is what they're claiming up in the Northwest. And you've got TDS Telecom here. So you've got 8 gig by 8 gig on their max advertised product. So again, they're going to be coming into Billings and competing with TDS Telecom. I feel like when I was clicking around here, I didn't see TDS everywhere, but I might be thinking of something else. I was not thinking of something else. So here you've got no TDS. So you've got the fastest service you've got available is Starlink at 220 by 25. And as far as for BEAD purposes, you've got WISP West, but it's unlicensed. So it's not licensed wireless. So that's why this would be, I'm not sure why it's not showing as unserved, because you've got satellite service. And this is unlicensed fixed wireless. And I, as far as I know, selected it to be I can check, see what I have it selected as. Oh, I didn't on this one. So let's see. Let's go all wired and license fixed. There we go. Oh, that changes things. So this is now a red dot. I didn't change when I opened this new map. I didn't change that to this on this one. So that's what we've got going on here. So all of these, this again is a business, it looks like. So that's probably why. And there we've got Spectrum down there on business service only. So that's what I was seeing. Okay, here we've got Spectrum. TDS Telecom is there. So TDS Telecom is not, are they not listing themselves? They're not listing themselves as a business provider there for some reason. But they are in other places. So I'm assuming then TDS Telecom is everywhere else. Yeah, here they are, 8 gig, wherever you go. I'm sure there's no reason they would not be doing that. Let's go up here. We've got, there again, 8 gig by 8 gig. We've got Spectrum, 1 gig. I didn't see Spectrum. Maybe I did. Maybe it was the business site that I was on. So we've got Spectrum there. Here, we've got Spectrum under business service. That's a business. Okay, so it's hard to tell what's business and what's not. Let's see. Let's move up. These all look like homes, I think. Let's go here. And we've got same thing. Looks like Spectrum, yeah, 1 gig by 35. TDS, 8 gig by 8 gig. So again, Ziply, it's great that they're going in here. It's going to be more competition. It's going to help lower prices, if not keep them low. But it's going to be a difficult lift to get subscribers. So they're really going to have to come in and compete with a low price. Is again coming in at 20 by 20. But with a fiber operator there, not just competing against Spectrum, with a fiber operator there, unless that fiber operator just doesn't have good service, if they have problems technically or they provide lousy customer service, then somebody might switch. No reason not to, if you can get better service from another provider, if you want to try them out. So that's there. And then I looked at one of the new locations that they are building out right now that they're not yet offering. So this was Troy. So here in this particular location I've got here, we've got Montana Sky West fiber to the home, fiber to the prim, gig service. And then you've got Ziply. So Ziply looks like they're here. You see copper. So Ziply has infrastructure here. So this will be a little bit easier for them as they do have DSL service and they can maybe leverage some of the infrastructure that they've got. Same thing, I'm assuming here. Yep. Oh, here we got Ziply fiber to the prem. So maybe this is an area that they are actually already not just building out passing homes, but starting to connect people up or being available. So I guess as they pass the homes, they can mark it as being served, because if all they need to do is a standard installation, they can mark that as being served. But this data is, how old is this data? Is it last December? So this data is as of December of last year, because generally you're 6 months or so behind on the data from the FCC map as service providers update their coverage. So it's surprising that they're showing fiber there at that address. Let's see what else we have here. Let's look at this one. See what we've got. Yeah, Ziply fiber. So they actually, even though they're saying this is going to be a new area, it looks like they are covering areas here as well. So these are areas that they, whoops, grabbed the wrong thing here. These are areas that they can provide service to right there. And again, you've got Montana Sky West. So you've got them competing. I guess I clicked on something else. Yeah, so I missed that. So they're not at that address. Let me check this one here. There's Ziply. Okay, so here you got 6 gig by 6 gig Ziply and a gig by gig Montana West. So 6 gig by 6 gig, that's not on their website. That's a fast speed. So they can talk about being the fastest there. I don't know what their price is compared to the others. But so again, I'm not sure why this location is saying that it's future, unless it's future areas that are not yet covered by them. You've got, could be maybe locations like this out here show it as unserved because these are off by themselves. Nobody wants to do it right now. You've got fixed wireless basically and satellite. That's the best you can do at some of these locations out here. And these are all, this is a Troy address. Here's another one. Same thing. So you've got your fixed wireless and your satellite service. So probably these are the kinds of places you're going to have some people signing up for Starlink if they need something faster, let's say, than the fixed wireless that's available, the unlicensed fixed wireless. So, well, anyway, good for Ziply for expanding, and they made this investment a while ago, and they've got to do something with that, and it looks like they're trying to get out there, but they've got, in all these areas that I'm looking at, they've got some competition. So it's going to be a little harder for them to make a return on the investment, as they have to they don't have a lot of pent-up demand, except maybe in some of those areas where they don't have service. Some of those areas I was just looking at. And again, that's going to be the more expensive areas to serve. So maybe they start there, and then, but they're not, though. As we saw in Troy, they are providing service in some areas. So maybe they're talking about expanding out in those areas and somewhere like Troy. But again, the numbers are impressive. Over 50,000 homes and businesses that they're talking about serving soon. So again, good for them, good for the folks in those areas in Montana, as they will be getting better service if they already don't have good service, and then more competition, more people to choose from, and good for Montana if it's an unserved location. A lot of these look like they're already served, so it's not going to do much for Montana as far as reducing the number of unserved or underserved locations so that they could use their B dollars more efficiently later. But every unserved and underserved location that Ziply does connect up, that'll be one less location that they need to worry about as far as BEAD. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Subscribe to our channel, click the subscribe button, and ring the bell to be notified when I'm live. If you haven't done that, please do that. Try to provide information that would be interesting to you. And if it was interesting, if you give me a like on the video, click the little thumbs up there. I'd appreciate that. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.